And according to their wiki page, it's the Wikipedia page, they were previously a component of the Freedoms New Zealand Party. But sometime between May and September, according to their Wikipedia entry, they ceased to be a component party member of Freedoms and started up their own party led by Michael Slocum. We're going to be talking to the deputy leader in just a second, who is Guy Slocum. And in fact, he joins us now. Welcome to the show, Guy from the New Nation Party. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael, and good morning to you. May I just correct something slightly that you said in your intro?
Yes, please do.
We didn't start up NMP as we left Freedoms. We were already a standalone party for 2 years before we met the Freedom team, and we joined them as NMP and we left them as NMP.
So, according to your Wikipedia entry, you've only been registered as a party since March of this year. Are you saying that you were registered prior to that?
No, but we treated ourselves as a party. We had people, we had members, and we have been existing in that state for about 3 years, although I do accept your point that formal registration did not occur until the date you mentioned.
Yeah, okay. That's all right. No. It's good to have to clarify these things. Now, the thing is, though, it's interesting that you were thinking of or part of that Freedoms group with Brian Tamaki and Sue Gray. Why did the New Nation Party leave that group?
Essentially because when we came together, and we were founder members of that Freedoms umbrella, when we came together, we established a number of processes and procedures that let everybody know who was doing what and who could involve themselves in what particular aspect or status within the umbrella. And then when Sue joined, she changed everything, and Brian agreed to those changes. And the problem for us was not dealing with change. We're used to that. But the changes that were imposed meant that we could no longer deliver on our promises to our supporters. And since that was at the very core of our existence, we had no choice but to leave.
What were those changes that you found so obnoxious that you actually had to leave?
Essentially procedural, but the main one was that we had always been promised as part of the agreement that we would have positions 3 and 6 on the list, and that ceased to be the case, and we moved down to an unacceptable place on the list.
Right. So you and your party leader were going to be placed at, that's Michael Slocum, you were going to be placed at 3 and 6 on, one presumes, the Freedoms list, and that was changed after Sue Gray came in because she was wielding, more political influence and more members?
Well, I don't believe that's the case, although I think she would probably argue that. Essentially, we took the view right at the beginning, and Brian agreed.
We've lost him. Josh, you give him a call back. Thank you very much. Okay, yes. Well, while we find him again, oh gosh, I hope he hadn't lost his cell phone. I'll phone Guy again. Remember I said to you, we'll discuss that in a second, and I said to you the splintering of, we'll discuss that with Guy in just a second, the splintering of the anti-vaccination, anti-mandate groups into a whole series of different and disparate parts, and why that would not necessarily be a good thing. Now, on the New Nation Party, just so that you know, Josh gets Guy back, they have 10 people on their party list. So, Guy, you're back?
I am indeed. I don't know what happened there.
That'll be the SIS. Now, you are, according again to your ideology of the New Nation Party, anti-vaccine mandates, anti-three waters, and it's got down here isolationism, whatever that is. Tell me, what is New Nation Party? What does it actually stand for? What's its primary raison d'etre?
The primary raison d'etre is not the ones you listed. We're not anti-vaccination, we're anti-mandates. In other words, we believe in freedom and choice. People should have the right to decide what to put in their bodies without government-type compulsion. We're certainly against co-governance and three waters, not against co-governance because we're anti-Maori in any way at all. We just cannot see the justice in giving 50% control to about 15 or 16% of the population, irrespective of the ethnicity of that population. And to come to your core question about what we stand for, essentially freedom and choice, one people of one nation, putting all the ethnicities together under one umbrella. And we have a passion for returning democracy to New Zealand. The fact that not one single MP would go down and talk to the demonstrators in Wellington, whatever you think of the demonstrators, means that was the day that democracy died in New Zealand. And we want to see that democracy returned by asking the voters to do two things. Vote for the person who will best represent you in Wellington and best argue your local issues and your local needs, irrespective of the party that that person belongs to. But secondly, use your party vote to vote for New Nation Party so that we can create within the House an army of people-orientated MPs who will ensure that never again do we see the kind of draconian excess of power that we saw over the last 3 years.
Okay, except I'm looking at your policies, and when I look at your policies, the only one that stands out in some ways as being a bit odd, but we'll come to that in a second. The National Party could be saying, for example, you've got protect the rights and freedoms of Kiwis. Well, the National Party could say that. Repeal three waters. Well, the National Party can say that. Repeal Hei Pua, we are one nation, one people. The National Party could say that. Certainly ACT could say that as well. Oil and gas exploration to resume immediately. That's an ACT policy. No tax, strengthen provincial autonomy, law and order, no state funding of the media. The ones that I guess stand out as being distinctly yours, well, part of, that wouldn't be mainstream, would be leave the United Nations, no tax on the first $25,000 of income, and no vaccine mandate certificates or passports regards COVID-19. Would it be fair to say that those are really the three things that are distinct from an ACT or a New Zealand First or even a National Party?
I think I would buy that, but I'd have to go back to your earlier comment, Michael. The reality is that an MP in many ways is like National used to be, with a bit of compassion bolted on the side, because it's my contention that Luxon has brought National so close to Labour that there really is no daylight between the two parties. And those disaffected National voters, of which I meet many around the country, have got the NNP with the simultaneous policies, and we will actually implement them. I'm sure you know that over the last six occasions, National have failed to actually implement the points that they have been campaigning on. So we had these policies in place long before National uttered them. They are original NNP policies, and we stand by them.